Sam Switzer is a lifetime Calgarian, innovative entrepreneur, committed volunteer, and visionary philanthropist. From seizing an opportunity to fund tested and proven community programs to actively seeking changes to legislation that allowed him to hire female bartenders, Sam sees value in every person and commits to helping them see it too. His lifelong support for health and wellness, women, and particularly single mothers, people living with addictions, and for families living in poverty has truly changed our city. We are lucky to live in Sam Switzer's Calgary.
He's probably one of the most amazing guys I've ever met. And if you know me, I'm not going to say that if it's not true. You know, he's got a pretty impressive list of accomplishments behind him, and you'd never know it, right? I've never seen the man be boastful or pretentious, and that's one of the things I love about him. He doesn't feel like he has to be somebody he's not.
What I see in Sam when I do meet him is his wealth of knowledge, his willingness to share, and his passion to help other people.
Contributions made from Sam to us have been nothing short of miracles when they've come.
His generosity comes in the shape of donations to the YWCA, supporting our programs, and his belief in wanting to see women thrive, wanting them to be empowered, and wanting them to be able to move from that position of dependence to independence in Calgary.
The reality is we couldn't do what we do without the support. We just couldn't.
Last year we helped 8,700 people, over 2,500 children. And we couldn't do it without people like Sam.
Sam, I hope that you know how I feel about you. I'm incredibly grateful. Our entire organization is grateful for your support.
Thank you, Sam, for your generous contributions over the years, for your strength of character, and for empowering women to thrive in the community. Thank you, and congratulations on being this year's Lifetime Philanthropist.
Let's hear it for Sam Switzer, Lifetime Philanthropist. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sam, I have to tell you, I spent a lot of time figuring you out, and I did a bunch of research. And I read an article that was your speech to a class, and I emailed it to my wife, and I said, we have to grow up to be like Sam and Betty. So I just want to say what an honor it is to sit beside you, and thanks for all you've done to our city. It's been great.
Thank you.
Great. Now, if all of us took a walk right now, Sam, and we went out to Olympic Way, which one time was called 4th Street, and we walked towards the river, and we went back 70 years, we'd see a small home and a small corner store. Your book is called Building and Giving. When you think back to living in East Village all those years ago, how did the giving start? What was your inspiration?
Well, I guess my wife, Betty, came from a small town, Frontier, Saskatchewan, 200 people, and she had worked at the YWCA when I first met her, and I'd say she was my mentor and my inspiration.
Wow. I also know when you talk about the car business, you say, okay, that was a business that didn't go well for me. A lot of other businesses went very well for you. For all of us in here that make mistakes, you have an interesting outlook. Mistakes are part of life, but how do you look at them?
Well, for a person that only had, let's say, a grade 8 education, making mistakes was part of my growing up. And I think that's the best lesson you can ever do, is keep trying. And even when you make mistakes, they're lessons, they're not mistakes.
When you were, we talked a little bit in the video about how you changed the legislation for women when it came to bartending, and that seems like a simple thing now, but that was a huge shift. Why did that start?
Well, I would say I understood that women were having a problem, and I was in the hotel business, and there were all sorts of women that would qualify for work, and the legislation in Alberta actually was anti-women. And it took me 2 years to keep going up to Edmund and getting my refusals to tell them why women should work in that industry. And I remember, I'm not sure what his name was, but my first time I went in there, he said, "How do you like to be in the hotel business?" And I said, "I like it." Well, he said, "See that door? Keep walking."
I have a feeling when you keep walking far, though, and I think that's a great lesson. So then when you think about looking back on a life of philanthropy, what makes you most proud? What are you proud about?
Well, just living in Calgary, when I see the building we're in now, the Calgary Exhibition and Stampede, with over 2,000 employees or volunteers, and the Heritage Park with over 2,000 volunteers, can any of us in this room think what Calgary would be like with just those two not being here? As we all know, Calgary was put up on the block to be one of the favorite cities in the world. We were nominated for that. So what a wonderful city we live in.
That's something? I want to, one more question before we let you go, Sam. I know that your faith is very important to you, your Jewish faith, and I know that for a lot of the folks that we know who are business people in the city, we see them as driven, who are up early, who go hard, who are in bed late, and just make things happen all the time. You talk about the value of spending an hour every morning in prayer. Now, for those of us that are religious, that makes sense, but for some people it's just an hour of silence. But what is the value of being calm and reflective?
Well, the meditation that goes with it, and just knowing that, again, I think in the book I read, The Garden of Emunah, which is the garden of God, there's so many blessings we get every day that we don't realize around us. Me sitting with you here today, getting up in the morning, it's all a blessing. So what a way to wake up for an hour and just then spend an hour with God.
Isn't that something? I think what I take from that, Sam, is the next time my wife Blythe is really mad at me, I'm going to say, "Sam Switzer said I was a blessing, you know, so think about that."
No, that's a fact.
I may need that in writing, Sam. I appreciate it. You know what? We were talking about you at the office, and I said, I'm thinking of asking Sam, if I walk into a casino, what's the best bet on making money? And somebody said, own the casino. Is that true?
Any place but Alberta.
He is one of the people here, and we're going to get to thank him when we thank the group. But just for now, can we please give Sam the recognition he deserves? Sam Switzer, our lifetime philanthropist.